Good day, students. Welcome to our online learning discussion. This is your subject here, English as a Second Language, Mathayom 5.3 and 5.4. Your teacher here, Miss Michelle Joy. Class, before we start with our online learning discussion, let's have a short recap or review of the last topic that we have discussed, which is about advice. What do you mean by the word advice? Advice, also called exhortation, is a form of relating personal or institutional opinions, belief systems, values, recommendations, or guidance about certain situations relayed in some context to another person, group, or party, often offered as a guide to action and or conduct. Put a little more simply, an advice message is a recommendation about what might be thought, said, or otherwise done to address a problem, make a decision, or manage a situation. So class, here are the objectives of our lesson for this week. Number one, students must be able to know what documentary is. And number two, students must be able to know who Chang and Eng were. So class, I expect that at the end of our lesson, all students have understood our topics. So our topic for today or this week class is about documentary of Chang and Eng. So these are the words to learn that can help us understand our topic more. Now, please repeat after me so you can practice your reading skills and speaking skills even if you're just at home. Are you ready now? Let's start reading. Number one, twins. Number two, vice. Number three, documentary. Number four, carnival. And number five, conjoin. Now let's discuss these five words one by one. Twin means duplicate, double, counterpart, match, mate, parallel, dual, twofold, pair, pair. So usually class, when you say twin, these are either brother or a sister, or can be brothers, or can be sisters that are born at the same time. Next, vice. Vice means frailty, immorality, wickedness, badness, evil, iniquity, corruption, sin, depravity, degeneracy. Next word, documentary. When you say documentary class, it means documental, docudrama, film, documentary film, factual, broadcast, cartoon, infotainment, short, historical. So class, when you say documentary, it is actually a factual, broadcast, or cartoon, short, historical event about a person or about a place or about something. Next, carnival. Carnival means fair, circus, gala, festival, fete, celebration, fanfare, jamboree, fiesta, jubilee. So when you say carnival class, it means a circus or a festival celebration in which people go visit to have fun. And the last word, conjoin. Conjoin means conjoint, joined, connected, united, linked, join, marry, associated, merge, conjoin. So when you say conjoin class means they are connected, linked with each other. So these are the five words that can help us better understand our topic for today or for this week, which is about the documentary of Chang and Eng.
This article is about the Siamese twins. For the musical theater production based on their lives, Chang and Eng Bunker were Thai-American conjoined twin brothers whose condition and birthplace became the basis for the term Siamese twins. The Bunker brothers were born on May 11, 1811, in the province of Samut Songkhram, near Bangkok, in the Kingdom of Siam, today's Thailand. Their fisherman father was a Chinese Thai, while their mother, Nuk, was Chinese Malaysian. Because of their Chinese heritage, they were known locally as the Chinese twins. The brothers were joined at the sternum by a small piece of cartilage, and though their livers were fused, they were independently complete. In 1829, Robert Hunter, a Scottish merchant who lived in Bangkok, saw the twins swimming and realized their potential. He paid their parents to permit him to exhibit their sons as a curiosity on a world tour. When their contract with Hunter was over, CHANG and ENG went into business for themselves. In 1839, while visiting Wilkesboro, North Carolina, the brothers were attracted to the area and purchased a 110-acre, 0.45 square kilometers, farm in nearby Trap Hill. Determined to live as normal a life they could, CHANG and ENG settled on their small plantation and bought slaves to do the work they could not do themselves. Using their adopted name Bunker, they married local women on April 13, 1843. CHANG wed Adelaide Yates, while ENG married her sister, Sarah Ann. The twins also became naturalized American citizens. The couples shared a bed built for 4 in their Trap Hill home. CHANG and Adelaide would become the parents of 11 children. ENG and Sarah had 10. After a number of years, the wives began to dislike each other and separate households were set up west of Mount Airy, North Carolina in the town of White Plains. The brothers would alternately spend 3 days at each home. During the American Civil War, CHANG's son Christopher and ENG's son Stephen both served in the Confederate Army. The twins lost most of their money with the defeat of the Confederacy and became very bitter. They returned to public exhibitions, but this time they had little success. Nevertheless, they maintained a high reputation for honesty and integrity, and despite their odd marriages they were highly respected by their neighbors. Later years and death. In 1870, CHANG suffered a stroke and his health declined over the next 4 years. He also began drinking heavily. CHANG's drinking did not affect ENG as they did not share a circulatory system. Despite his brother's ailing condition, ENG remained in good health. Shortly before his death, CHANG was injured after falling from a carriage. He then developed a severe case of bronchitis. On January 17, 1874, CHANG died while the brothers were asleep. ENG awoke to find his brother dead and cried, "Then I am going." A doctor was summoned to perform an emergency separation, but he was too late. ENG died approximately 3 hours later. An autopsy revealed that CHANG had died of a cerebral blood clot, but ENG's cause of death remains uncertain. Doctors of the time theorized that ENG died of shock due to fear of his impending death. They based that theory on the fact that ENG's bladder had distended with urine and his right testicle had retracted. 2 North Carolina neurologists, Dr. Paul D. Mort and Dry V. Wayne Massey, reviewed the case and concluded that CHANG likely died of pulmonary edema and heart failure. They also dismissed the claim that ENG died of shock and attributed the muscle cramping that caused his testicle to retract was caused by acrocyanosis from induced vasospasm and microthrombi due to disseminated intravascular coagulation, the tissue factor released from necrotic tissue and the endotoxin from sepsis activating coagulation cascade. Sarah Ann Bunker, ENG's widow, died on April 29, 1892, and Adelaide Bunker, CHANG's widow, died on May 21, 1917. Legacy. The fused liver of the Bunker brothers was preserved and is currently on display at the Mutter Museum in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Numerous artifacts of the twins, including some of their personal artifacts and their travel ledger, are displayed in the North Carolina Collection Gallery in Wilson Library at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. This includes the original watercolor portrait of CHANG and ENG from 1836. Mark Twain wrote a short story, The Siamese Twins, based on the Bunkers. In 1996, BBC Radio 4 broadcast a 90-minute radio play called United States about the lives and deaths of CHANG and ENG Bunker. The writer was Tony Gould and the director was Andy Jordan. Transmission was on June 17, with a cast that included Bert Kwok and Ozzy Yu as the twins. A Singapore musical based on the life of the twins, CHANG and ENG, was directed by Akashai Yukrongtham and written by Ming Wong, with music by Ken Lo. Chang and Eng premiered in 1997 and has since been performed around Asia, starring Robin Go as Chang Bunker, Sing Sang Kwang as Eng Bunker, and Selena Tangent as their mother, Nuk. Subsequent productions starred Edmund To as Chang Bunker and R.J. Rosales as Eng Bunker. The best-selling and multiple award-winning 2000 novel Chang and Eng by Darren Strauss was based on the life of the famous Bunker twins. The film rights to the novel were purchased by award-winning filmmaking team Gary Oldman and Douglas Urbanski. Oldman is currently working on the screenplay and will also direct. I Dream of Chang and Eng, a play by noted Bay Area playwright Philip Kingotanda that is based on the lives of the Bunker twins, was produced in workshop form at UC Berkeley and was produced on their main stage in the spring of 2011. Descendants. Chang and Eng Bunker fathered a total of 21 children, and their descendants now number more than 1,500 citation needed. Many of their descendants continue to reside in the vicinity of Mount Airy, and descendants of both brothers continue to hold joint reunions. 200 descendants reunited in Mount Airy in July 2011 for the 200th birthday of the twins, which was the 22nd annual reunion. Prominent descendants include United States Air Force Major General Caleb V. Haynes, who was a grandson of Chang Bunker through his daughter Margaret Elizabeth Lizzie Bunker. General Haynes's son, Vance Haynes, earned a doctorate in geosciences, performed foundational fieldwork at Sandia Cave to determine the timeline of human migration through North America, and served as professor at several universities. Alex Sink, former chief financial officer of Florida, is a great-granddaughter of Chang Bunker, and was the Democratic nominee in the 2010 Florida gubernatorial election. Eng's grandson through his daughter Rosella George F. Ashby was president of the Union Pacific Railroad in the 1940s. Chang's son Christopher Wren Bunker built Haystack Farm. It was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1982. Composer Caroline Shaw is a great-great-granddaughter of Chang Bunker and won the Pulitzer Prize for Music in 2013.
Let us read about the story of Chang and Ing, the Siamese twins. So these are the pictures of Chang and Ing. As you can see, their chests are conjoined, means they are connected with each other through their chest. Born in May 11, 1811 in a fishing village 60 miles from Bangkok, the twins had their roots more in China than in Siam. From birth, their sternums were connected by a small piece of cartilage. But believe it or not, the rest of their systems operated completely independently from one another. So even though their livers were fused, one could be wasted while the other was stone cold sober, which is a good thing since Chang's weakness was boozing. So class, another picture of Chang and Eng sitting down, and you can see in here that their chests are connected with each other. That's why they are called conjoined twins, which means connected. Now let's us continue reading their story. They both had their vices. Class, when you say vices, things that are not good that you do with yourself, like smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, or even going to casino to play cards. Eng was known to go on a gambling benders, playing poker all night long. From a young age, their mother encouraged them to exercise, stretching their connecting tissue so that it gradually measured more than 5 inches, allowing the boys to have a little more wiggle room. Although very individual, the twins had inseparable experiences. Now, class, take a look at the families of Chang and Ing in this picture. So we have the family of Chang and we have the family of Ing. Now, later on, we are going to discuss each other's family. Let's continue reading about them. This story would have never been told if it weren't for Scottish merchant Robert Hunter, who spotted the boys swimming. He realized their potential as a sideshow attraction in the West. When you say West, class means in United States of America, and paid their parents to take the 18-year-old brothers away as human oddities. So class, Robert Hunter saw Chang and Ing swimming, and when he saw them swimming, he thought that he could use these twins to get money. That's why Robert Hunter paid their parents so that he can take Chang and Ing to the United States of America and use them as a sideshow attraction to get a lot of money. And as a result, they toured for 10 years, eventually ending their contract with Hunter and managing themselves for a time before settling down and enjoying life as Southern gentlemen, plantation, and all. Now, class, let's take a look at the descendants of Chang and Ing. So these are the people who are descendants of Chang and Ing, meaning to say family of the family of Chang and Ing. Now, let's continue reading about them. That and all leads to romance. Chang and Ing began pursuing a pair of farmers' daughters next door. So when you say next door, class, meaning to say Chang and Ing's neighbor, people that live next to their house or close to their house. It was an unusual courtship. Chang and the so-called more attractive sister Adelaide fell in love, while Eng and her sister Sarah were lukewarm. It means they are not in love, but then after 5 years, Sarah agreed to marry Eng, and both couples tied the knot in 1843. So even if they are conjoined brothers or conjoined twins, still they were able to get married. So Chang married Adelaide, Eng married Sarah in 1843. So class, in here we have pictures of Chang and Ing and the wife and the first child, and we have here Ing and Sarah and the first child. Now let's continue reading about them. This wedding stirred up scandal. Why scandal, class? Because can you imagine conjoined twins and then they got married, and you know what married couple do? That's why it became a scandal. Chang and Ing never publicly discussed this private matter, but to put it in perspective, the couples both gave birth to their first children only 6 days apart. Chang and Ing went on to father 21 children in all. With the end of the Civil War came financial ruin for the bankers. They went back to the sideshow but had little success this time. So class, they had 21 children all in all, Chang and Ing, and they become bankrupt or they had a problem financially. So they went back to the sideshow, but then at this time they had a little success. So class, let's take a look at the pictures again of family of Chang and Adelaide, and this is the family of Eng and Sarah and their children. Now continue with the story. Chang began drinking heavily, often leaving his sober brother to care for the drunken man attached to him. So imagine that, class. Chang was a drunkard and Eng takes care or took care of Chang every time he was drunk, while Eng was healthy. So Chang becomes sickly because he has this vice of drinking while Eng was healthy. Chang's health deteriorated, and during a bout of bronchitis, he passed away in his sleep. So while Chang was sleeping, he passed away. Awaking to find his dead brother attached to him, Eng panicked. So because when Eng woke up, he panicked when he saw Chang that he was dead already. A doctor was called to remove the dead brother, but Eng announced he was going to and died shortly after. They died on January 17, 1874. So they were born together and they died together, but Chang died first, and after 3 hours, Eng died. Thus, it's time for me to give you the activity, which is documentary about Chang and Eng. And this one, you are going to do it online, which is called word wall application. So this is for step 1, click start. Step 2, drag the box to the sentence to match. So you can see boxes in here and you're going to drag it to the box that you have chosen. Step 3, click Submit Answers. This one, Submit Answers. And then step 4, click Show Answers. This one is the Show Answers. And step 5, screenshot. So after you click Show Answers, you just screenshot it. And the last step, write your name, class, and student number. Upload in ESL album in Mathayom 5/3 if your class is Mathayom 5/3, or Mathayom 5/4 if your class is 5/4, and upload it in ESL album in your line group. Good luck, everyone! Now come to the end of our online discussion. If you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or if you want to share your ideas about our topics, you can always send me a message in Google Classroom or in my personal line account. I'll see you again next time. Bye, everyone.